Welcome to your eating disorder recovery guide for the festive season. I really appreciate you joining me here today. I'm going to talk you through some guides for self-care during this time. As a little bonus, I'm also going to give you our pocket guide for navigating recovery over the festive season. It also includes a planner and it's in the link below. Okay, now if you're struggling with an eating disorder or disordered eating, the festive season can involve increased anxiety, fear, panic, and overwhelming feelings of inadequacy and insecurity. For those who don't experience eating-related concerns, it can be a little bit difficult to comprehend the level of fear and anxiety, and can sometimes contribute to even further distress. Whatever your unique situation is, it's important to try to think ahead and develop plans and coping strategies to feel more in control, as well as to empower your recovery. To help you through this challenging period, here are some tips to help build your resilience and reduce the possibilities of relapse. Number 1, identify your main concerns and worries. Consider the events or situational possibilities that most scare you. The ability to identify and anticipate potential triggers is an empowering tool to facilitate feeling in control. Worrying about them instead serves only to fuel your anxiety, but it also underestimates your ability to cope. Once you've listed your main worries, begin identifying alternative coping options. These don't need to be detailed or prescriptive. However, developing strategies to manage certain situations often tends to reduce anxiety and stress levels. There are examples of these also in our pocket guide below. Number 2, remind yourself of your recovery goals. Now, recovery from an eating disorder can mean different things to different people. Now is the time to reflect on your recovery goals and think of some of the steps you can take to working towards them. You can also view this period as a series of skill-based challenges that you'll be learning about and mastering over time. Remember that lapses are a natural and normal process or part of any change process, so it's important to practice reflecting on these with compassion. Think about what you would need to do and say to be kinder to yourself during this time. Number 3, make a plan. Gain clarity on the practical expectations of the festive period for you. This involves asking the right questions so that you are both aware of and, to a certain extent, in control of plans set out for the holiday period. It's helpful to map out what you're doing, with whom, and when. If you're feeling particularly anxious about certain foods, try to discover what will be served ahead of time. If there are any meals that are going to cause you heightened anxiety, try talking to a family member or loved one about how best to navigate that particular situation. You can also be guided by previous holiday, festive periods as to what to expect, as well as this time what you would like to happen differently this year. It might also be helpful to be mindful of any agreed obligations and reflections about your needs in these situations. Number 4, stick to a regular eating routine where possible. Rather than try to eat large meals, as is often the norm during the holidays, practice trying to stick to your regular eating pattern and routine, but also allowing for some flexibility. If an eating plan has been designed for you by either a dietitian, therapist, or another expert, discuss how best to maintain your meal routine during this time. Getting through a big day can feel really overwhelming, so try breaking it down into more manageable parts to help maintain focus on the present, as well as towards different activities throughout the day. Number 5, identify your support system. Having a support system means that you're not feeling completely alone, and it reminds you that you have people around you who are willing to help and guide you through some of these challenges. Your support system can involve a friend or family member who's perceptive enough to know when you need to be called away for a chat or a walk. You can also set these up beforehand so the other person is aware of when you might need a little bit of help. If you worry about being observed or when you're eating, or whether someone will make comments about your eating or physical appearance. This can feel extremely destabilizing. So it becomes easy to then, in these situations, lose complete focus and obsess about what's been seen or said. Where possible, think about helpful responses beforehand, such as, "I can't talk about that right now," or "Could we please change the subject? I'm struggling a little." Alternatively, try changing the subject by asking another person a question or walking away from the situation if that's possible. Remember, you can also contact helplines, so try to have some of these resources on hand. We also have resources listed in our pocket guide below. Number 6, plan your exit. Having everything in abundance, friends, family, food, drink, all at once, can be really overwhelming. It really is okay to want to take a break from it all. Anticipate which events might be more overwhelming than others, and then plan your exit strategy if it all becomes too much to bear. It's also important to reflect on some of these exit strategies. In familiar places, you can map out some quiet areas where you can use this time to regroup, so to speak, or you can alternatively use the time to text or call a friend who might be on standby. You can excuse yourself by saying you need to make a quick call, or perhaps you're not feeling too well, so you need to step outside for a walk or have a break. You can also let people know beforehand that you're unable to stay for very long and have to leave by a certain time. So having an exit strategy facilitates, again, feeling that little bit more in control and less trapped in the situation. Number 7, be willing to experience new things. Now, there's a difference between being aware of your health limitations and allowing them to control your existence. Although you may sometimes feel wary of being in a social gathering, lest you worry about being judged, it's equally important not to be isolated from those who genuinely care about you. Try not to allow your eating disorder to prevent you from enjoying time out with family and friends, or participating in fun activities if that's what you wish. Although there may be some anxiety-provoking experiences at festive dinners and parties, it's likely that these are also filled with people who want to spend time with you and offer you their support. Number 8, breathe. Now, you're likely to feel overwhelmed and anxious at some point during the holiday period. So when this happens, try to focus on taking deep, slow, controlled, rhythmic breaths as you ground your thoughts and mind to help maintain a sense of calm and control. There are so many breathing exercises out there you can try out. Here's one to help you practice, to help manage your anxiety. Locate a quiet, comfortable place. Sit in a relaxing position, close your eyes, and listen to your breathing. Focus on your breath, and as you breathe in slowly to a count of 3, hold your breath for a few seconds, and then exhale to an even slower count of 4. So if you practice this for a few minutes each day, gradually you become much more confident in using your breath to help you manage anxiety. As your mind drifts to anxious thoughts, practice refocusing on counting your breaths, and imagine that your diaphragm is filled up with oxygen. Visualize oxygen going all the way up and out through your nose. And remember, this is also an exercise you can do in front of others without them even noticing, provided your eyes aren't closed. Now, when you're feeling especially overwhelmed and at the risk of completely disconnecting, here's an example of a grounding exercise to help you remain focused on the present. Name 5 things you can see. Name 4 things you can touch. Name 3 things you can feel. Name 2 things you can hear. Name 1 thing you can smell. Now, remember, you can download your Eating Disorder Recovery Guide workbook below. And finally, remind yourself that you're stronger than you think. Focus on how much you've missed your friends and family and how good it is to be spending bits of moments of time with them. Try to enjoy the beautiful seasonal songs, help put up the Christmas trees if that's your thing, and play and have fun in the snow, weather dependent, and remember to reach out to others. Season's greetings.